Message from General Pepper. Priority 1. We need your help, Star Fox. Andross has declared war. He's invaded the Lilat system and is trying to take over Corneria. Our army alone can't do the job.
This is Star Fox 64. It is a simple story about good guys versus bad guys, intended to be enjoyed by very young children. Or at least, that is what the creators at Nintendo wanted you to think. Star Fox 64 came out at a time when video games were not truly expected to have higher themes or even true plot lines and characters. The pixels on screen were seen as being nothing more than an expression of what you, the player, were doing outside of it. The characters would succeed or fail depending on your actions, your abilities as a player. The Nintendo 64 era of game design is a rather unique one, in the sense that it blends a compelling narrative and characters into timeless, engaging gameplay. Star Fox 64 is a standout example of this design philosophy, as it manages to tackle themes such as loss of beloved family members, vengeance, and the morally gray nature of war. Star Fox 64 begins with a seemingly rather straightforward narrative. You, Fox McCloud, the leader of Star Fox, must lead your team of misfits to liberate the Lilat system from the evil Emperor Andross. General Pepper, the man in charge of the Cornerian army, begs you to come to his aid in his darkest hour. On a first playthrough, this may not seem strange. It is a video game, after all, but upon replaying the game again and again, taking note of specific characters, their relationship, and individual lines of dialogue, a clearer picture begins to form. This conflict, presented to us, the player, as being a simple case of good versus evil, is a far more complex situation than we are led to believe. Star Fox 64 begins with a text scroll describing the background events of the conflict. General Pepper, years ago, exiled Andross to the planet Venom, where he built up an army to attack Corneria. On a first playthrough, most fans would think nothing of this, but in hindsight, it raises all sorts of questions. Why was Andross banished? How did he build his army? Why did he attack Corneria? And perhaps, above all, how powerful is General Pepper to order the exile of such a keen scientific mind? The game presents Andross as being a power-hungry, insane fool, but it does very little to present General Pepper as being in the right in this situation. Pepper, rather than using his own armed forces to order an investigation on Venom, instead sends a group of mercenaries. The game uses this incident to suggest to the player that Andross is an antagonist willing to go to great lengths to achieve his goals. This is certainly true, but doesn't it seem to be a little strange how a man, powerful enough to banish a scientist to the fringe edges of the system, immediately contracted a group of hired guns to deal with a possible major galactic incident? Was there truly nothing more he could do? There are very few areas in the game where you can even see any of the Cornerian army. Pepper assures you that his army can't do the job alone, but you rarely see them. When you do, you see hordes of poorly maintained ships with seemingly drunk pilots flying into their own men and failing to even deal with the most trivial of Andross's fortresses. Cornerian's army are clearly highly disorganized and lack a proper power structure. Following a narrow victory or loss at Katina, Bill, Fox's old friend and apparently the commander of that particular group of pilots, leaves the group to assist Fox in other stages of the game. The dialogue indicates he received no orders to do this. He simply decided to go AWOL and fight alongside Fox when he is clearly needed elsewhere. This incident, alongside others, seems to suggest that the Cornerian army has no ability to even begin to fight back against Andross's forces, in spite of the story confirming that Andross has only been building up his army for a very short time. How is this possible? Where is Andross getting all of these commanders and resources to attack Corneria? The answer, I think, lies in the surrounding planets. We are never told who lives on planets like Fortuna, Katina, Macbeth, Aquas, or Zonus. General Pepper usually just says that the enemy has a base there and it needs to be destroyed. But what I believe is actually happening is that the denizens of each planet are actually rebelling against Corneria and General Pepper's tyrannical and incompetent rule.
You're going to attack the enemy base? Great idea, Fox.
It'll be a piece of cake, General.
The extent of Pepper's military ability seems to be hire Star Fox and have them fix the problem. His immediate response when Venom was rising to power was to send Star Fox, and when Venom attacked, his response was to hire Star Fox, and to keep paying them until the threat was eliminated. But what is the threat exactly? What is Pepper so afraid of? Is it the idea of losing his power and control over the galaxy? Is he simply afraid for his life? Well, no. That does not seem to be the case at all. Pepper seems to think himself completely untouchable, never once questioning his own safety. No, what Pepper seems concerned about is the safety of Corneria, the planet. It was when this planet was attacked that Pepper reached out to Star Fox and tried to put an end to the conflict. It was when this planet was attacked when Pepper decided that there was a problem, although Andros had killed James McCloud years previously. Upon looking at those who surround Pepper in the ending, and the Cornerian army members we do get to see, the answer is clear. General Pepper feels a compulsive need to surround himself with people exactly like him. Domesticated canines. The people of Corneria are dogs who blindly love and worship General Pepper as their glorious leader, and would be willing to die for him. This was the world that General Pepper was trying to preserve for himself. When Pepper offers Star Fox the opportunity to join the Cornerian army, Fox rejects the offer without even really considering it.
Star Fox, we are in your debt. I would be honored to have you as part of the Cornerian
Oh no, sir. We prefer doing things our own way.
This, I think, more than anything, shows how Fox distrusts and dislikes Pepper, his methods, his control over the population, and really wants nothing to do with him. For him, for Fox, this job was nothing more than an opportunity to get back at someone who had slighted him personally, to take revenge on Andros and avenge the death of his beloved father. Fox may not be that heroic of a video game protagonist, but at the very least, he is not blindly following General Pepper's orders.